Support for Radio Friends comes from La Brunerie Financial, where they work to ensure a lifetime of financial security for people from all walks of life, from investment services to retirement plans. If you're looking for a trustworthy company that has the experience and knowledge to put your interests first, contact La Brunerie Financial, a community-based investment counseling firm since 1966. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on this Monday, February the 15th, a day after Valentine's Day, but this is President's Day. And Larry Brown is with us.
Good morning, yes.
You have something to do with President's Day?
Well, yes, I'm going to connect to presidential authority a bit.
Okay. Well, we should mention, this being President's Day, the banks are closed and there's no mail today. And that's according to Aaron Hayes. So, no, I think Aaron is correct, though.
I hadn't checked this.
All right. So what have you got for us for President's Day?
Well, the executive order has been a particular issue over the years. And sometimes presidents do executive orders, and then it takes a while for legislation to occur. But programs can exist. For example, I think in the area of immigration, across the 20th century, a lot of immigration policies have been established by executive order, going back all the way to 1917 when there was a labor policy established to invite guest workers. Now, the United States has had kind of a love-hate relationship with immigrant workers, particularly with Mexico. And although guest workers were coming in, then the Great Depression occurred, and then we didn't want them, and then World War II occurred, and we wanted them, and so they came back in. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in 1942, I think it was, established a deal with it was called the Mexican Labor Agreement, known as the Braceros Program. And that existed all the way till 1964. And over that period of time, some 5 million guest workers came in. It started in California, although 24 states were included. But it didn't become legislation not until 1951. It was extended by President Truman, but didn't become legislation. But it was difficult. The workers weren't necessarily paid enough. The housing conditions, food, the way they were treated by local communities was often difficult. And you saw signs that said no dogs, Negroes, or Mexicans, that kind of discrimination going on. And then they were brought on the basis of contracts. And if the contract was over, they were sent back and literally put on a plane, taken back. And then they'd get back home and then, you have a new contract. And they would come back again. And so it was...
They were like a piece of machinery.
Well, pretty much. Well, in fact, braceros means manual labor. I mean, they were labor. Well, an incident occurred in January of 1948. An immigration service, DC-3, crashed in Los Gatos Canyon, California, about 60 miles from Fresno, and all people aboard were killed, 32 people. 28 of them were folks being flown back. They were immigrant workers, and they were buried in a mass grave. Well, when Woody Guthrie, the folk singer, heard that story and heard that they were just referred to as deportees, he wrote a poem. That poem later, a few years, became a song and recorded by some 50 artists to this day, including Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, the Highwaymen, perhaps a famous one, Bruce Springsteen, and so on. And the song began to be known not only by Woody Guthrie's name, The Wreck at Los Gatos Canyon, but Deportee. And I'll sing this song, and you'll hear some of the implications of Woody's concern about the racism that was treated the immigrant workers.
Okay, so here's Larry Brown.
The crops are all in and the peaches are rotten. The oranges are piled and their creosote dumb. They're flying them back to the Mexican border. They pay all their money to come back again. My father's own father, he waded that river, took all his money to go back again. My brothers and sisters come work in the orchards, rode them old trucks till they lay down and died. Goodbye to my Juan, Goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos. Jesus y Maria. But you won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be Deportee. Some of us are illegal, some are not wanted. The work contract's out and we have to move on. 600 miles to the Mexican border. They chase us like outlaws, like rustlers, like thieves. But we died in your hills, and we died in your valleys, died in your deserts, and died on your plains. We died 'neath your trees, and we died in your bushes, both sides of the river. We died just the same. Goodbye to my Juan, goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus y Maria. But you won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be Deportee. Well, the airplane caught fire over Los Gatos Canyon, a fireball of lightning that shook all the land. And who are these friends all scattered like dry leaves? The radio called them just Deportees. So is this the best way we can raise all our orchards? Is this the best way we can grow our good fruit? To fall like dry leaves and rot on the topsoil, to be called by no name except Deportee. Goodbye to my Juan, goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus y Maria. But you won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be Deportee. But the good news is, over the last 20 years, there's been research done, and we now know their names. And that common stone at the mass graves is beginning now to identify the people,
all of their names
and their stories.
That's a beautiful, haunting.
Oh, it's haunting.
Well, had me in tears there, Larry Brown.
Yep. Deportee.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. Larry Brown, always a pleasure to have you here, and good information you share with us. How can people get in touch with you?
brownstory@hotmail.com.
Okay, brownstory@hotmail.com. We're out of time for today. Something you'd like to hear or see, drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu, and if you say, wear that mask when you go out and about, okay? Hopefully we'll all get through this later this year.